Department of Education. Fixing education, teaching real life, not just textbooks, and reminding kids that they're enough. Episode 14, welcome. Hey everyone, welcome back. It's just me again, one guy with a microphone talking about a school system that absolutely did not know what to do with me, and somehow I turned out alright. Not sure how, but here I am. Alright, here we go. Today we're talking about education, not just the Department of Education, not just teachers, not just schools, but the whole experience of growing up in a system that often feels like it wasn't built for real humans. And I want to say something up front. I totally get it. School was not a great experience for me, not even close. I had a few great teachers, but otherwise, it just wasn't great. I wasn't one of the Gold Star kids. I wasn't a straight A honor roll student. I wasn't a kid who thrived in a structured academic environment. Honestly, school felt like trying to run a marathon in sand. Everyone else seemed to glide through it, but I felt like the odd one out. But now, out here in the real world, I'm thriving. Because the real world doesn't judge you by how neatly you fill out a Scantron bubble. The real world rewards creativity, problem solving, determination, curiosity, hands-on skill, relationship building, work ethic, and passion. Things school barely touches. So if you're a kid, or a parent of a kid who feels like school is suffocating, demoralizing, and not just built for the way your brain works, you're not broken, you're not behind, you're not failing. You're just different, and the difference might be your superpower. Now, let's talk about the system itself, because it's outdated. Washington's education system is still running a playbook written decades ago. We're teaching kids how to memorize, how to sit still, how to test well, and how to follow rigid rules. But what we're not teaching financial literacy, we're not teaching trade skills, conflict resolution, confidence, emotional intelligence, how to learn independently, how to spot misinformation, how to be a resilient adult in a messy world. We're sending kids into adulthood with facts, but without the tools they need. And then we wonder why so many of them feel lost. And now, let's talk about social media, because it's quietly destroying kids' sense of self-worth. This part is important. Schools are failing kids academically, but social media is failing them emotionally. Kids today are growing up comparing themselves to influencers with perfect lighting. They're also comparing to models with filters and Photoshop, wealthy people posting curated lifestyles, perfect families who never show all the arguments they have behind the scenes, and peers who only share the highlights of their life. And here's the truth nobody tells them. Most of what you see online is only the shiny parts, the curated parts, the pretend version, not the whole story. That guy flexing in a Lamborghini could be drowning in debt, could be living at home, could be mentally falling apart. That model with flawless skin could be using layers of filters, retouching, and makeup. They don't even look like that in real life. That influencer with the perfect family, you didn't see the argument before the photo shoot, or the stress behind the scenes, or the moments they didn't post. The problem with social media is that it just shows perfection. But perfection isn't real, and kids need to hear this. So let me say this plain. You're not supposed to look like a filter. You're not supposed to act like an algorithm. You're not supposed to compare your messy behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. You are perfect as you were created, imperfect human growing and learning. You don't need to fix your face. You don't need to fix your body. You don't need to fix your personality. There was never anything wrong with you in the first place. Who needs fixing is the system, not you. Let's get back to education, because the system needs a rebuild. Not a tweak, not a new program, a fundamental shift. Kids don't need more testing, they need meaning. Kids don't need more homework, they need skills. Kids don't need more memorization, they need to understand stuff. Kids don't need more pressure, they need more confidence. We need schools that prepare kids for real life, not just for the next grade or the next test. Let's talk about teachers, because they deserve support and not blame. Teachers are stretched thinner than drywall on a windy job site. They're expected to be educators, therapists, social workers, referees, parents, tech support, and crisis managers, all while juggling giant class sizes, shifting policies, and endless administrative tasks. Teachers care. The system is what's failing them. And then there's the Department of Education, a giant iceberg of paperwork floating toward every classroom. It's too top-heavy, too slow, too political, too obsessed with metrics that don't matter, too disconnected from reality. Kids don't need more bureaucracy. They need more opportunity. We should be turning schools into launch pads, places where kids discover what they're good at, not places where they learn to feel inadequate about themselves. Here's the blueprint. Simple, practical, human. We bring back life skills. We bring back trades. We modernize tech education. We reduce test obsession. We support teachers. We integrate mental health. We teach kids how to be resilient adults. We teach them how to fail, learn, and grow from their failure. We remind them that social media is not reality, and we tell them repeatedly that they are enough, because they always are. You don't need to have straight A's to build a meaningful life. You don't need AP classes to succeed. You don't need to fit a mold to have a value. If school made you feel small, the world might just make you feel powerful, because real life rewards the traits that school often overlooks. Because at the end of the day, education should be a foundation, not a filter. Kids deserve a system that prepares them for reality. Teachers deserve a system that lets them teach. Parents deserve transparency and trust. Communities deserve schools that build hope and not anxiety. Hope isn't gone. It's just waiting for a better lesson plan and a reminder that perfection was never the goal. Humanity is. If you struggled in school, or if your kids are struggling now, or if there's something you'd wish someone had told you when you were younger, send it my way. Your experience might shape the next episode. This isn't just my voice, it's ours. Hope isn't gone, not as long as we're learning from each other.